Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Yet again, we look back to an update from quite a while ago as I'm continuing to try to catch up in the series, and this update 1.34, came with some very interesting things. We have the Nissan R32 GTR Nismo 1990. That's the first car we'll be taking a look at. There are two other cars in this update as well, as a bunch of new races to do. We've also got an old Alfa Romeo which we'll be driving next, and then later on a new SEMA award-winning car as well, which is very cool. But starting with the GTR, it's we've already got an R32 in the game. This is a slightly newer one, I believe, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But we've got a bit of a change to how upgrades work. In the tuning shop, we can now purchase ultimate parts. Previously, we could only get these through roulette tickets, so that's a good change. I think we can still get them through roulette tickets, but of course we can now purchase them as well. Some of them are quite expensive, but the upgrades themselves are pretty good. You know, better than anything you can buy in the other upgrade tabs. And so here are the upgrades available. Not all of these are applicable to every car, of course. In fact, most of the time you'll only be able to get a couple of these. But we've got Bore Up and Stroke Up S. Both of those are just better versions of the original upgrades. In the lower tabs, we've got Titanium connecting rods and pistons. We've got High Lift Camshaft S. Again, just a better version of the High Lift Camshaft. Weight Reduction Stage 5. A lot of cars don't even get Stage 4, so Stage 5, I can't imagine too many will be getting that. But that's interesting nonetheless. We've also got Carbon Propeller Shaft. We've got Supercharger High RPM S, so again, a better version of the High RPM Supercharger. And then an Ultra High RPM Turbocharger, which is actually cheaper than I would have expected. But nonetheless, those are the upgrades available. You can see we can get 4 of them for the GTR, while the other 4 are locked. So, or not even locked, they're just not applicable. So yeah, that's what we have available. So let's do some upgrades before we get into the first race. Alrighty, so to Blue Moon Bay Speedway, infield A reverse. Probably one of the most forgettable layouts in the game, but anyway, we're here for the GTR Cup, and we have 16 cars, 5 laps, so let's get cracking. It's going to be interesting racing here. It's not a track I do all too often. The regular Blue Moon Bay is quite fun, but the infield layout, or the various of them, I don't know, they're just not particularly interesting. I feel like the infield isn't quite big enough to have a sort of interesting circuit of its own. But anyway, we'll see how it goes, as we've already made a couple of spots in this race up into P13 so far. And this car R32, so it's probably one of the older model GTRs in this race, but we should, with the upgrades we've done, be able to keep up well enough. And you can see we're making good progress through the field so far, up into 10th position. But as always, the cars towards the front of the field will be faster, so we expect to make this kind of progress on the opening lap. This is my biggest issue with this. We have a perfectly good banked corner out there we could be using, but we come down onto the infield and do what is a very just nothing corner. And go straight back onto the banking again. But anyway, that's my personal thoughts on this track. But as we continue to race on, we make a few more spots along the main straight into the only banked corner we get to use on this layout, and even then we have to slow down immediately after it to make the next corner as we turn down off onto the infield once again, moving ourselves up into P8 of the race so far. So making steady progress and we need to continue this all the way as we're closing in once again to the next car. And with a nice run here, we might have a chance to get down the inside. We'll actually just get through on the straight. We do have a lot of straight line speed, as it seems, with our current upgrade package. I'll be honest, I didn't actually look at what upgrades I bought, even though I just did show it in times 32 speed, I think that was. I was reading some of the new upgrades as well, reading the descriptions and such, but that was back then and not now. But as we continue on, as we race along, we are steadily catching up to the top 5, or we're in the top 5, catching up to 4th position, and we should be able to make the move to the inside towards the first corner, as we have 3 laps to go, and as of now we have 3 cars left in front of us. But already the momentum has slowed a little bit since the opening lap, and the race leader has been getting away. So we do need to make sure we are still driving quickly despite the rapid ascent up the field. We are not able to make the move for the podium places just yet. We should be able to do it all on the exit here as we get the power down, move ourselves up into 3rd position, and we'll see if we can maybe switch this back to the inside or carry the speed round the outside off into the grass a little bit there, and we'll drop back for now. As we continue on though, we will eventually get another opportunity towards turn 1. And we're going to go for the move down the inside into the bank corner, and a little bit off onto the inside grass there, but we get the move done to move ourselves up into 2nd position. Bit of contact there as we're still running side by side, but the move's now done. We're up into P2, the race leader not too far up the road. And as we begin the final lap of the race, we do catch up to the leader, switching to 3rd person for a moment there, but anyway, back on board. We go for the big dive down the inside into the banking, and we get the move done into the race lead. Nice and easy there. Now we just have to hold on to it for the final lap, and we should be good to go. So we move on to the end of the race. We had no further issues, and we'll come across the line to take the victory here. Really nice car to drive, of course. It's a GTR, you wouldn't expect anything less. But yeah, awesome car. Circuit, perhaps not so much. But anyway, we get a roulette ticket for the daily marathon, so we will spin that one up and see what we get. The lights are flashing on the safety car there. That's an awesome little detail. It's like, yeah, that raises some interesting questions about the programming actually, but that's not something I'm going to bore you all with now. But anyway, another thing that was added in this update, like I mentioned probably earlier, I'm not sure, is that we can now engine swap cars whenever we want. Unfortunately, the GCR Nismo doesn't have any engine swaps at this moment. Might be added in a future update, but yeah, there's nothing we can swap into this car as of right now. So yeah, if we want to engine swap cars, we'll have to do that another time. But previously we needed to wait for an engine swap to come in a roulette ticket. Now we can just buy them for a very expensive price sometimes. But anyway, we've with the purchase of that GTR completed a menu book, the Group A menu. So without further ado, let's see. Hang on, no, almost said things out of order there. Collection Group A completed, and a 5-star roulette ticket for our troubles. That car's got a sunroof, you don't need that on a race car. Anyway, let's see what we can learn about these cars. Everyone who knows about international touring car regulations knows about the legendary Group A. Touring car races are competitions for road-going cars that have been modified for racing. In other words, they are intense track races featuring cars that anyone can get their hands on. These 3 cars are 3 miraculous legends from Group A history. One hurdle in qualifying for Group A homologation is the production requirement. While the unit number has changed over the years, the condition that Group A cars be mass-produced has not. When the regulations were introduced in the 1980s, the idea was to make Group A cars from race-suited production cars. Then, something unexpected happened. Automakers with Group A ambitions began building powerful base cars for homologation. This meant that ordinary road-going cars were being built as world-class touring cars. The BMW M3 E30 from 1985 is one of Germany's most iconic Group A cars. It featured an upgraded engine displacement, and the Evolution model had aerodynamic and cooling tweaks. Built by Ford Europe, the Sierra Cosworth RS500 featured a tuned-up engine from Cosworth Racing Engine Masters. Only 500 units were produced of this car for Group A homologation. The Nissan Skyline GTR R32 from 1989 is another legendary production car that was built to win races. Beginning in 1990, it famously scored 29 straight victories at the All Japan Touring Car Championship. The Nismo model, built by Nissan Motorsport, has a near mythical status for all of its racing modifications. Unfortunately, as Group A regulations fell out of fashion in the late 90s, the need to build production cars declined. That said, we should be thankful that it gave us such miraculous legends as these. Alrighty then, that's little menu done. So let's go and check out this roulette ticket, see what sort of prize we get from this one. Hopefully something useful. 5-star ticket. I feel like these are kind of rare because I don't know, like for the daily ones it's always 3 or 4, and then a lot of the prizes are 6 stars. But anyway, we get 100,000 credits, probably about on par for a 5-star ticket, and I certainly won't complain about that. But anyway, the next car we're going to drive is the Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GT Veloce from 1967. Quite a cute little car. Very old Alfa Romeo. Don't really know a lot about it, but it contains the word Veloce, so it must be very fast. That's how that works. So we'll see how it goes. The event that we are doing in this car does not give me much hope for its lap speed. It's the Sunday Cup Classic. Probably the slowest class of cars in the default different little race rule sets we have. Strangely enough, I really don't think there are any rules in this. Like, if you want to turn up in a R33 Skyline or something, you actually can do that. In the Sunday Cup Classic races, there is actually no limitation on what year car you drive, which is kind of odd. But anyway, we get racing, then we'll see how this goes as we're making our way past the slower contenders. But this race, it was actually surprisingly difficult, as we're making good progress early on, but there were a lot of sort of near misses, I guess you could say. But yeah, we're trying to get through the traffic as quickly as possible, as we now head into the Della Roggia chicane, and a little bit deep there, not too bad though, still carrying decent speed through there. And that's the thing with these cars, is when you lose momentum, it takes a long time to get it back, so it's very important to carry speed as best as you can through each and every corner, as we've got a good run here. Can we make a move? Not close enough. We'll have to do it on the straight, catching up at a bit of an awkward time there. We get slightly compromised, but we make the move up into third position now, as we are on the back straight heading up towards the Ascari chicane. We might soon make the move up into P2, as we've got one of the little Autobianchi things, and we're making the move on them along the straight. The only car in front of us now is another Giulia, so let's see if we can chase them down in the remaining lap. They have taken off into the distance so far. So as we begin the second and final lap of the race, we'll go to the off-board and watch this lap from the outside, get a better look at the car, and we'll be able to see the gap closing from the outside. It's still at a couple of seconds at this point, so we have some work to do. And like I said, this is a tough race. We are faster than the car in front, but it's not by a huge amount. I imagine they also are probably running with no upgrades, same as myself. But yeah, it's a bit of a mission to try to catch up, and like I said, if you make a mistake and lose a bit of momentum, that just costs so much time, and once you've lost it, there's no getting it back, of course. But anyway, as we head into the Della Roggia chicane once more, you can see we've visibly closed that gap to the leader, but we're coming up to the Lesmos now. Probably my weakest corners on the circuit. I always struggle, especially with the first one. The second one, not so bad, but let's see how we go on that occasion. It looked okay through the first Lesmo. Through the second one now, we are still within range of the leader, but not hugely close as we head towards the Ascari chicane. We probably want to be lining up for a move here, otherwise it'll be a move at Parabolica, and that's just leaving us a little bit too late for my liking, but we'll see what we can do. We're too far back to do anything into the Ascari chicane, so we'll just have to try our best to get a good exit. Oh, they're slow, and we get alongside. We're gonna have to make the move around the outside of the final left-hander. We're out a little bit wide, but we get the move done and move ourselves ahead into the race lead through the Ascari chicane on the final lap, and they're still hanging around behind us, so we can't wait around. We do need to try and get this thing to the line as quickly as possible, but we are in front now, which will obviously help us out, and we tip it into the final corner. A little bit of understeer mid-corner there, but no issues. We're through the corner nicely, and we can run it to the line, and that's the race victory for us here at Monza in the Sunday Cup Classic, and another race ticked off the list in an enjoyable little car to drive. So yeah, that one was quite fun. These cars are definitely my kind of thing. In this game, I enjoy the slow cars just as much as the fast ones. And speaking of fast ones, here is the next car. It's one of the SEMA Gran Turismo award-winning cars, and it is a little piece of insanity. It is the Greening Auto Company Maverick, and it is absolutely insane. Is the only possible way to describe this car. 1,199 horsepower. That's really all you need to know about it. The rest is irrelevant. I think it says a top speed of 325 kilometers an hour, 7-liter engine. Just silly numbers. So yeah, this is going to be quite something to drive. And thankfully the racetrack that we need to try and wrestle this thing around is high speed ring, because I don't think it could really handle much else. But yeah, this thing is quite insane. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. No doubt it will have unbelievable straight line speed. Yeah, let's just check it out, I suppose. Only 300,000. Like all of the GT Award winning cars, they're all the same price. I guess in a similar way to that, all the Vision Gran Turismo cars are a million credits. I suppose that just makes it fair. But yeah, this is going to be insane. This car, I can't even fathom like 1200 horsepower in a car that looks like this is going to be barely drivable, I think. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It might surprise me. But yeah, this is going to be very interesting. So it's the American Clubman Cup 700 at high speed ring, the reverse layout. And despite all of this car's horsepower, it only sits at 660 pp with the sports soft tyres. So that'll be interesting as well. But anyway, we are immediately just going to blow the Ford Focus out of the water before we even get to the first corner. And they started 2 positions in front of us. So nothing wrong with this car's acceleration as we get it all sort of out of shape through the exit of turn 1 into turn 2, and we're still trying to wrestle this thing back under control as we head all the way through the tunnel, and we finally get it settled down as we head into the S-bend and just carefully navigate the exit and head out onto the bridge. And yeah, this car is not a cooperative one, but we'll see if we can you know, make some moves here with the whole cluster of cars in front of us. And oh my goodness, we've spun it on the exit of the penultimate corner of the lap, and now we're in trouble. Ouch! What are you doing, mate? We're off the racing line. The Ford Focus is way down on the racetrack there, and the Corvette goes through, but that was weird. What was that Ford Focus doing? Well, let's have a little look on the replay on board and see what happens. As you can see, clearly turns down on the racetrack and hits the car square on the door, so just right in the middle. Like, there was no attempt to it was not even no attempt to avoid, it was an absolute attempt to just smash into the side of the car from an AI. I mean, they're talking about making the AI more, you know, realistic, more like you know, more like an actual player, but that's, I think, taking it a step too far. But anyway, let us move on from that, and we'll continue on through the race. We made a bunch of overtakes all in a row there, up into the top 10 now, and we've got more cars right in front of us. This car is an absolute rocket ship. It doesn't handle the corners too well, but once you get that power down and sort of learn how to control the numerous horses under the bonnet of this thing, it is very, very quick. Look at the acceleration as we're getting very, very snappy through this final banked corner and onto the straight once more. And so this will be another few positions just along the straight itself. We're all the way up into position 4 now, so absolutely flying in this race so far. As we continue on, we eventually catch up to the top 3, and we'll start making the moves on this lot, as we still have a fair way to go in this race, only on lap 3 of 5, but conditions darkening slightly, it seems, at the moment, but we're up into the race lead now, and 2 laps left in this race. As we continue on to the end of lap number 4 then, we are starting to run into a little bit of trouble with the weather. A little bit of rain's fallen, and that's making things very tricky as we lose the rear end, end up straight into the barrier with many, many spins there. And the cloud of smoke there is massive as we get going again, and different GAC Maverick takes the lead for the moment, so it's going to be difficult to chase them down on the final lap, but that was an almighty accident as we try to chase down the pack once again. Around the outside we go, and gaining a couple of spots there as we work our way now towards the tunnel. Thankfully it'll be dry in here as we break into the S-bend in the middle sector, and this part of the circuit, especially when it's a little bit damp, just about surviving, and then we'll be able to put the power down. But the problem is that it's another GAC Maverick in the lead, so we're not necessarily going to have this the easy way, as we try and look to the outside. Not really working for us so far, but it has given us a little bit of extra momentum. We're right on the back of the leader coming into the final corner. Bit of contact as we make the move to the inside, but we find our way ahead regardless. And out of the final corner, we will lead the way and take home the race victory here at High Speed Ring. Goodness me, that was pretty close in the end, but I didn't look specifically at how fast this thing got to in a straight line, but I think I saw 340 something. So yeah, insane straight line speed out of the GAC Maverick. We have another menu book to read after that one, another one from the update. This one is for the SEMA GT Awards, so we'll find out a little bit about some of the SEMA cars in the game. So congratulations, you've got all 3 cars. This completes your SEMA GT Awards collection. And once you've collected your present, I've got some stories to tell you about these cars. Collection SEMA GT Awards completed. And a 5-star roulette ticket yet again. Let's see what we can learn about these cars. This is a collection of awesome cars that have won the SEMA Gran Turismo Award that celebrates cool high-performance cars. If you're wondering what SEMA is, SEMA stands for the Specialty Equipment Market Association. A group established in 1963 to bring together businesses involved in the manufacturing and marketing of high-performance automotive parts. And they are the hosts of the SEMA Show, the world-renowned automotive aftermarket trade show held in Las Vegas every year on the first week of November. The SEMA GT Award was a title presented by Gran Turismo that was part of a sponsorship deal that began in 2003. In the US, there has been a deep-rooted culture for customization and performance tuning of cars for a long time. American car enthusiasts improved the performance and style of their cars, beginning with hot rods in the 1930s. The SEMA GT Award pays homage to the shining jewels of this custom car culture. The SEMA GT Award provides the experience of enjoying these cars to car fans all around the world through Gran Turismo. This Mach 40 was the recipient of the GT Award in 2012, produced by Eckert's Rod & Custom of Oregon. At first glance, it looks like a 1969 Ford Mustang. But on the inside, it's a monster machine with a mid-mounted Ford GT V8 engine. The SEMA GT Award has been given not only to American hot rods, but to European and Japanese tuned cars as well. The Fugu Z, based on the Nissan 240Z, is a winner from 2015, and its owner, Song Kang, is an actor from the Fast and Furious movies. The Rocket Bunny body kit is especially menacing. And the car comes powered by a naturally aspirated version of the famed RB26 Skyline GTR engine. More than a few winners of the SEMA GT Awards began life as unassuming road cars, but then transformed into tarmac-eating monster machines. The 2013 winner by the Greening Auto Company, took a relatively compact Maverick and turned it into a hot rod. It was packed with a fully tuned 427 cubic inch V8, which resulted in a 200 mile an hour top speed, approximately 322 kilometers an hour. It's all about seeing how far you can take your dreams with your car. And the SEMA GT Award is a perpetual embodiment of that endeavour. Well, that was lovely. Alrighty, well, that's the menu books done for this update. So let's see what we get from our second of the two roulette tickets, 5-star tickets from those menu books. We got 100,000 last time. Let's see if we are more lucky this time. We got 500k and a million on the options, but we get the 100,000 once again. So not too bad. 100,000. That'll save me a bit of money grinding later at some point. That'll be well, between the two, that's like half a car. But anyway, we have a couple more Super Formula races to do. Two new Super Formula races were added in this update, and I'm going to be using both of the new Super Formula cars. Not that they're terribly different to the old ones. As I'm flicking through them, you can see the stats are not that different. But anyway, we're going to use the Toyota first, given that we used the old Honda last time, and we'll see how it goes. The first one we're going to do will be at Autopolis, which actually said last time that it was strange there wasn't one at Autopolis. Now there is, and I think the next one is Road Atlanta, I believe. We'll see as we get going here at Autopolis. And this is going to be interesting, actually, racing here. It's not a track I come to all too often, so yeah, it could present some challenges. Weather is always a possibility here as well, so we'll see how it goes, as we've already made one overtake up into P15 so far, as we wind our way through the opening part of the lap. But yeah, this is going to be quite a long race at 15 laps here, so we'll need to settle into a rhythm and try and make some progress as we go a little bit off circuit there, trying to make that little maneuver. And we go down the inside, a little bit of Rubbins racing on the way through there. Probably not a good idea in these types of cars, but we can get away with it here as we continue to push on up into P16 so far, field of 20 here, similar to real life Super Formula. I don't know, last time I watched it I think they had about 19 cars a couple of years ago, but anyway, so we continue to put the pressure on. We're getting closer and closer, and not able to make a move yet, as that car in front of us was absolutely all over the place through that section. But anyway, we make the move on the exit and move ourselves up into P15 by the end of the first lap. Doesn't take us too long to catch up to the next car. We go for the big lunge down the inside. Can't quite get it done immediately, but we're on the verge of making this pass. We go around the outside of that sort of double left-hander, and we get the move done. Move ourselves up into P14. A couple more cars in the immediate vicinity though, so we're not finished yet on this lap as we try and line up a good run through there, and we do have some good pace on the exit. We should be able to make some moves down the inside and move ourselves up into P12 with a double overtake there. So progress being made fairly quickly so far. We go on board with a car further up the road, and they just drift off the road over the curb there, and they're out into the gravel trap. So that is a full-blown mistake there from one of the AI, which is interesting to see as we catch up to them now after that little off, and we'll be able to get this overtake done pretty easily as we move ourselves up now into P11. We continue on and we catch up to the top 10, the next few cars all in a nice bunch for us to pick our way through, and with a few overtakes there we're up into 8th position. We make a little bit of contact and sort of barge that guy out the way, but it's fine, up into P7. So a few places gained there as we work our way through what is only the 3rd lap of the race, so it's still a long way to go in this one. But yeah, it seems like our pace is decent enough. As we're off the road, there's someone else off the road too, goodness me. It's been a tricky corner for myself and others, it seems, there. And yeah, that's the 2nd car we've seen off the road at that spot on the circuit. It's not track conditions, the circuit is dry, so yeah, I don't know what that's about. But anyway, as we look on the replay, just straight off the road, and they might have even made light contact with the barrier there. It was very close, but yeah, then we went off the road on our own as well and had to dodge a car that was off the road, which is interesting. But anyway, we both get a move on again. Here's the onboard from the car we saw off into the gravel trap, and we'll see exactly why it happened. Looking around a little bit versus the car in front, and just drifted off the road, and yeah, got close to that barrier. But yeah, we go back on board with myself, and we are putting the pressure on, making the move down the inside for P6 once more, and that's the job done. We've got P5 right ahead of us as well, and we make that move down the inside, and yeah, we're up into the top 5 now, so starting to get into a bit of a rhythm here. Tyre wear looks pretty bad, so that's something to watch out for, in addition to the weather, which is just starting to come over as well, so a little bit to manage at this stage of the race. As we continue on, we eventually catch up to the next group of cars. Did take us a while. You can see in the indicator in the bottom left, the water levels starting to build up on circuit, and realistically it's probably just about time for intermediate tyres, but it depends if this rain is going to hang around. Looks like it'll be going away soon, so it's probably not worth the switch, and if anything, that bit of moisture on the road will help us look after our own tyres even better as we go off the road there, and that's going to be a costly one as we head on to the straight, and yeah, it's going to be a matter of sticking to the dry line, I think, as well. You know, once the rain does clear. It's only very light rain, but it was enough to wet the surface, and yeah, we just have to be a little bit careful. I'm looking back just to sort of gauge how much water there is when we're offline by how much spray there is, and it's probably actually, I'd say, a little bit worse than it looks. The dry line that we do have to work with is already very narrow, so yeah, we have to be a little bit careful and just you know, monitor the situation. Looks a bit wetter here as there's water spraying off the tyres of the car in front all the way through, even on the racing line, so there's got to be you know, better and worse patches on the circuit, but for now we have just been able to maintain position in these conditions. We're not going to try and push for anything crazy. Running in 4th at the moment, and actually up to 3rd position now, as I think that's the race leader just came into pit lane, and we might have a chance at 2nd place here as we try to get the run mid-apex there and sneak to the inside. We might be able to get this done up into 2nd position, and we do. Just the race leader ahead of us now. And soon enough, the race leader will pit, and that will hand us 1st position. I'm not sure what the strategy will be. The rain you know, kind of halts the tyre wear, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know if we'll be going to the end like this. We'll have no pace if we do, so we might need to stop perhaps a little bit later in the race. In the end though, I decided not to make a stop and just risk it, trying to finish the race on the same tyre set, and in the end looks like that is going to pay off. Our tyres have absolutely no durability left. We've been absolutely crawling around the circuit, but we've had just enough pace to maintain the gap to the field, and that will seal the deal for us. First place here at Autopolis. We've got just one race left to go today, and as I mentioned, it's another Super Formula race as we head to Atlanta. Road Atlanta, to be specific. And we're going to be using the other car, the Honda, for this one. So that's another car purchased and ticked off the list, and covers the two cars I kind of missed in the previous update. So here we go to Road Atlanta. Let's do this. So we're underway here for racing at Road Atlanta, and yeah, I guess maybe another representation of IndyCar, given that you know, the principles of the two categories are kind of the same, and we're racing at America. I'm not sure if IndyCar race at Road Atlanta. Don't really watch IndyCar too much, but anyway, we having a bit of a rough time, no pun intended, over the curbs there in the first sector. This is a circuit that's a more recent addition to the Gran Turismo series, so it's not one I know that well, but we should be able to get up to speed and you know, make some overtakes throughout this one. We're up into P19 now, 15 lap race ahead of us, and we'll make the move down the inside, and a little bit early on the brakes there, couldn't quite get that move done, and we'll remain in P19 for a bit longer. Now up into P18 on the exit. We've got another pair of cars just up the road, and we might be able to do a sneaky double overtake here down into the first corner. A little bit marginal there, but we will get the move done and gain another 2 spots as we continue to race our way through the field. Another car not too far in front of us as we work our way through this kind of S section up towards what is a very awkward corner here, and again I've sort of been tripped up on the curb there on the way in, but we'll see if we can make an overtaking move. Not here, but there will be an opportunity on the straight, I think, as we line up a good exit, and we don't really get the full momentum initially, but as it builds, we're getting closer and closer, and now we'll go for the move to the right hand side, and we'll get it done. There's a few more cars up the road. Not sure if we're quite close enough. We might be able to do something here as we look to the left hand side. Big dive down the inside, and jump over the inside curbs. Bit of contact on the way through, and we can't quite make the move stick, although we do have some good momentum, and we'll get around the outside, and as we come to complete the lap to the inside, a couple more overtakes here, down the inside we go, and a bit deep, but we get the move done, and we're up into P11 as we're already on the back of P10. So we could break into the top 10 on this lap if we can string a few good corners together. I keep trying to take the curbs thinking that I'm driving something else, but certainly not the case, and this car very sensitive to the very high curbs here. But anyway, we do make the move up into the top 10, and we've got another group of cars ahead of us already, so making fairly rapid progress through the field so far. And again, it's that sort of tricky situation where the difficulty setting where it is too low, and then if I turn it up, it's too high. So it's just sort of unfortunate that there's no middle ground for my relative skill level in these cars, but that's just how it is. We are having a good battle though, as we're trying to close into the cars ahead. Look to the outside, and that's one overtake done. We'll go to the inside, get another one done, and we're up now into the top 6. So it's been after a slowish start, we've started making our way through the field at a rapid pace as we go a little bit off the road there. That'll cost us a little bit of time to the 2 ahead, but we'll stay off the curbs this time on the way in, and that's helps us immensely. And now we're ready to make the overtake down the inside, and we might go for the second one. and we'll just about get the nose in there and we'll get the job done. Move ourselves up into P4 on the road now as we got a bit wide off the road, a bit of contact as we come back on, and we will maintain 4th position after that. A while later though, we catch up to the podium runners yet again, 2nd and 3rd place here, and we're going to go for the move down the inside, and we'll manage to sneak on through there. Move ourselves up into P2. We don't go off the road this time, we'll hold our position in 2nd. And now that I'm getting used to the circuit, we're starting to make a habit of closing up through the end of that S section, and we make the move in the same place for the race lead. And now we just need to hold on to it, and again we look to strategy. Tyre wear's pretty bad, but after the last race we know it is possible to run to the end. But as we continue on to the end of lap 13, you can see the left side tyres are absolutely gone. Right rear is not looking too good either, but it's actually the fuel that will become the biggest concern for us. We have to bring it into pit lane to splash and dash effectively, and we might as well grab some new tyres while we're at it. And yeah, this is going to be interesting. I don't know what the situation is for everyone else, so we might be in a spot of trouble here, but we'll see. We've put enough fuel in to get to the end. The refuel rate's pretty high. I don't think there's actually refueling in Super Formula from what I recall. I'm not 100% sure, but that's interesting that it is a feature of this race, and we're not the only one in pit lane. There's 3 cars in front of us that didn't come into pit, so either they've already done it and got the undercut, which is possible if they pit around midway through the race like a smart person would, but yeah, I'm not sure what the go is, but yeah, that's strange. We haven't had to refuel in any of the races prior, so yeah, and I don't know, but anyway, we'll see how this goes as we bring it around the corner onto the big long back straightish, and we'll see if we can make the overtake for 3rd place. Coming from a fair way back, but the slipstream is helping us to catch up, and we'll go for the move down the inside and take the position up into P2, up into P3 rather. We've got P2 just up the road, and it's well, actually they're heading into pit lane as well, so 2nd place is into the pits, as is 1st place, so that will promote us to the lead, and we'll be able to hopefully just hold on to this to the end, as a lot of the competitors immediately behind us are coming into the pits as well, so that's left us with a healthy margin. So yeah, no pressure to the end as we get a little bit up on the inside curb there. That might no penalty there, but there's one for going wide surely, as we yeah, there it is. I knew there was one coming. But anyway, through this corner onto the straight, and we'll have to serve this penalty. It's only half a second, it's not going to do a terrible amount, but yeah, this has been a pretty fun race. The Super Formula cars around here, it's a very fun combination, so yeah, it's been an enjoyable one, and a challenging circuit for these cars, with the tall curves in the 1st sector that like to bounce the car around. We're bringing around the final corner as nighttime is starting to set in here. We'll cross the line to take the victory, and that is the end of this one. 1st place by 8.9 seconds, almost 9 seconds basically, so not actually that far ahead in the end, considering the length of the race. That's not too bad. 160,000 credits for that. We spent $1 million on a car for it, so we haven't got the return on our investment out of that one. But anyway, that is going to do it for this one. I'll say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It's always very helpful. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.